You want to know the best way to find new clients today? In this video, I'm going to show you a strategy and step-by-step method to find clients, get on the phone with them, and start building that relationship. And if you watch until the end, I'll show you how I get on the phone with potential clients and close the deal. Hey there, my name is Orson Lord and I run a video production company and freelance when times get tough. If you're like me, then you're always looking for new ways to find more clients. Well, I've been testing out a few things lately and I found a really great way to get in front of new prospects that you can start using today. We are going to need 3 pieces of software, and yes, the free versions will work. They are Google Maps, Phantom Buster, and Zoho CRM. Now, if you want work immediately, we need to create a list of companies that are right now looking to outsource your services. As a freelancer, this is thankfully actually quite easy. I'm a videographer and I found marketing agencies with 3 to 15 employees usually offer video, but outsource it to professionals. This is because it's a little expensive to have your own internal video team, from equipment to keeping your skill sets high, and this type of searching applies to all freelancers. As a videographer, I look for marketing agencies. If you're a makeup artist, you'd look for video production companies. As a graphic designer, you'd look for branding agencies. So once you've determined who is looking to outsource your services, we need to find them. Now, there's something I have to say, and this may hurt you, but it's better to hear the truth. Where you live is going to matter. You see, agencies and companies feel a whole lot more comfortable hiring from talent that lives near them. It's harder for talent to run away from a bad botched job if they live down the street. Now, it's not to say it's impossible. If, for instance, you want to sell overseas where pricing is higher, but as an overseas seller, you're going to have to work a lot harder to gain that trust. I plan on creating a video on how to build trustability around your business later, so don't forget to hit that subscribe and bell icon if you want to be notified when it's out. So once we have a vision for our ideal agency we want to be an outsourcing partner for, how do we find them? The same way a customer does, Google. Specifically Google Maps, because location matters. So for this section, I have to blur Google Maps because the video might get banned otherwise, but don't worry, I'll make sure that all the information you need to see is shown. So in Google Maps, you want to scroll down to the region where you'd like to find this work. So in this case, I'm looking here for Brisbane because that's where I live. In the search Google Maps term, you want to type in that one keyword that your agencies would show up with. So in this case, I'm going to type in here, marketing agency. And so as obviously what happens with Google Maps, we get the pin drops of all these locations. Now, we do want to call them, but we also want to sort these from the good businesses to the bad businesses, the ones that actually work with us. And so how are we going to do that? Well, we take this URL up the top here, and then we go to another site. This one's called Phantom Buster. And so right now I'm on the free version of Phantom Buster, and that's all you're ever going to need to do this sort of work. All we have to do is sign up and create an account, and then we'll end up on a dashboard like this. We can go start now and skip all these how to do's, because I'm going to show you this right now. And we want to look for a Google Maps. Careful not to get it mixed up because it's not Google Maps search to contact data. Well, the scrolling might take a bit while. So let's actually just go into the search bar and we want the Google Maps search export. So we go use this Phantom. Next, we want to take this URL and copy it into your searches because that's what we copied from back over here. And then when you hit save, so then we can hit save, number of results scrape per search. We want to do 200 because that's quite a lot of agencies to run through and we don't want to overburden them ourselves. In terms of the settings here, we want to definitely launch manually. We don't want to have this on repeat. Notifications, we'll put this on in case of error. And now that we're on this here, we've actually created what's called a Phantom Buster. And when we hit launch, we're going to run this search. And this is going to take about roughly 1 minute or so to do. So in the meantime, we'll just hold tight and wait. Okay, and we are back. As you can see, it took roughly about 9 minutes, or nearly 10 minutes really, to export this. So it does take a little while, but it is worth the wait. And from this, we asked for 200 places, but Phantom Buster could only find 103 marketing agencies based on the Google Maps. And that's actually related directly to how far you're zoomed in or out. So it's basically found like 103 marketing agencies in this region. So there's actually quite a lot of them in the Brisbane city alone. So we'll go through this. I'm going to download this spreadsheet. Now, I actually don't even pay for Microsoft Office. I use Google Drive. So you can go into Google Drive and create Google Sheets. And this is a free way, again, to open up spreadsheets. Okay, so when you open up Google Spreadsheets, it'll look like this. Now, excuse that I've blurred everything here, but being that this is it's not confidential information, but if you were to share a lot of information like this on YouTube, they would take your video down. So you're just gonna have to deal with this blur screen, and I will create another template in a second with some made up companies. But they'll give you all these tabs up the top. So just give me a second while I create some fake companies. Okay, so now I'm back and I've created this spreadsheet where I've completely made up some fake companies. And what I want to do now is go through the information you would see here on your real spreadsheet and how I filter it down to the stuff that's just relevant. So first up, there are a few things we can get rid of. So with the attributes, it is sometimes good to keep them on there if you are like working with certain specific groups that Google does tag. So Google do a lot of tagging for minority friendly companies. So if that's something you're targeting, I would keep attributes. Moving along from here, the things to get rid of are your plus code. You don't need plus code, so you can just delete that column. The times they're open, we don't need any of this. And moving on from there, we also have the current status. So this we can get rid of. ImageURL is claimed, and all this stuff actually here we can get rid of as well. And then after we've done that, we'll be left with pretty clean information on all these companies, but we want to go further than that. We want to actually go through and start deleting companies that are irrelevant to the searches we're looking for. So this is things that would qualify them as probably not a company with a lot of money, so they can't afford to outsource. And that can be things from missing websites to low star ratings. And maybe if it looks like it's some mom and pop shop, that may not be the best place to go. So let's go through and we'll start showing you how to filter out some of these businesses. And so let's go through how we can do that. So first up, you want to actually highlight everything. So you can press this tab and click on this tab, and then you want to go data, create a filter, and all of a sudden it will turn these columns into filterables. So you can actually sort them from A to Z, from highest ranking to lowest ranking. And now if I sort this for websites, anything that doesn't have a website will actually show up down the bottom. So what are the factors I'm looking for in companies that may not be the right place for me? Well, one of the easiest things I like to do is go for the ratings and bring them up from top to bottom. And I'll actually go through these. All my fake companies have pretty high ratings, but let's just say one company had a 3.5 star. These are like ratings in terms of Google star ratings. So this say we just do this and do it again. So we have this one company, Cool Blue Marketing. They have a rating of 3.5. Generally speaking, as a marketing agency, it's pretty hard to get below a 4.5 if you're a decent company. So in my general rule of thumb, any marketing agency with below 4.5 star ratings, I just straight up delete them. So I'll just highlight this like that, and then right click and hit delete row. Now, another filter I like to look for is if they have a website. Any company that doesn't have a website listed on their Google Maps either means that they're not organized enough to put their website on Google Maps, which is not a good sign, or especially for a marketing agency, or two, they can't afford to build a good website, in which case they're probably not at a level where they're looking to outsource freelancers. So again, I'll go through here, filter A to Z, and we can go down to the bottom here. We can see that Big Bird and We DM For You companies don't have a website. So again, I will delete them. Now we have a relatively filtered list of high quality potential agencies to outsource to. We need to contact them. Now I don't recommend emailing because it has a very little open rate and reduces our trustability. We're going to get on the phone and talk to them. Now you can just go down the spreadsheet and call each agency one by one, but I like being more organized, especially when we start getting these big lists of clients. We want to be able to take notes of them, figure out which ones are interested in our services, have some sort of system so that we don't call them again 2 months down the line when we try and find a new bunch of clients. And that's why I recommend we import this spreadsheet into a CRM. We're going to be using Zoho. Now, if you are going to check out Zoho, I really do recommend getting Zoho One. A lot like Adobe, if you got the Creative Cloud suite, that it just comes with so many business apps, Zoho One, that it's a really good value buy, from everything from emails to customer automation to sending out forms. It's got a lot of these tools that individually cost about $10, $20 a month each. And Zoho actually gives it all to you for $60 a month. And when you look at all the yaps, roughly speaking, of something like $2,500 to $3,000 worth of services in a single platform. The only reason Zoho is not that popular at the moment is that it doesn't have a lot of fancy colors and doesn't feel that nice to operate. But if you're looking for like functionality over form and profits over what's flimsical and whimsical at the moment, definitely give Zoho a check out. So when we go into Zoho, and again, there's going to be some screens blurred here. Apologies for that. We want to go leads. So when we go into leads, I've pre-made my leads into these columns here. But what you can do, and this is a good way to go, we basically want to put all the leads in this not qualified section. And there's a reason for this I'll get into. So to do that, we can go up to the top right here and go import leads. So when we go to import leads, we can go back to our spreadsheet and then we go file, download, and we want to re-download this as a Microsoft Excel document. Go back up to here. So put your file in. And we hit next. So after we've hit next, we can go add as new leads. Now, I highly recommend this learning what the skip existing leads based on email does. Basically, when you go to import a lead into your CRM, Zoho is going to look to see if it's got an email already in the system. And if it does, it will ignore importing that lead. This is great as we start doing this multiple times throughout the months, because the last thing you want to be doing is doubling up and calling agencies that were never interested in your service. And that's exactly why we're here to use Zoho CRM right now. It's just to make sure that we don't double up on our work and overload ourselves calling the same people and agencies over and over again. So after that, we hit next. So once we hit next, we get put up with this. We need to match the fields in our CRM to our spreadsheet. In saying this, it's pretty easy. Like we got where they live, that's the address. You got the website, which is their website. Phone number is their phone number. The big things we want to really get are the web address, website, and phone number. If you get them, we're pretty sorted. So then we can hit next, and you're going to get this error, and I'm just going to say we can ignore it. There's information in here that we really don't want to add to our CRM. We want to keep it concise with what actually matters, which again is their contact details and website. And this thing it's recognizing right now is like their 5-star reviews and how many they have. We don't need to know this from now on. So we continue. All this stuff, just leave it as default. Hit continue and okay. All right, so I'm back. What I've actually figured out I can do is filter it to just these fake leads I've created, so none of my real leads show here, so I don't have to keep blurring this screen. So now we have our leads and we want to start processing. We want to start going through each one of these leads. How do we do this in Zoho CRM? Well, I've created my own little process here, which goes from not qualified to pre-qualified to contacted, contact in future, not contacted, attempted to contact, capabilities, deck sent, junk lead, lost lead, and that's pretty much it. Now, you do not have to do something as crazy as this setup. In fact, I don't recommend doing this when you first set up Zoho. What I recommend is getting in there and giving it a go. And simply put, I would create a few columns or use the Zoho template. And I think the not qualified, pre-qualified, and contact is a great place to start. So what will actually happen is they'll come into this unaccounted section. And so what we want to do is click on them and we can go actions, mass update, and then we can select a field. So we can change this field based on what it is. So this is lead status, and we want to put them into the not qualified. Fantastic. So now they're in the not qualified. What do we do from here? Well, my process is pretty simple. So I'll click into a lead. It'll open up a new tab in Zoho. Whoops, I clicked on the website. So when you click on a lead, it'll open up into this new tab here. Now, the first thing I do is I always check that company's website. So what I'm looking for is, are they saying anything that would make me not want to work with them? And if there is, I would go back into my Zoho and I would take this and I would put it into a junk lead. And basically, the reason why I'm doing this is a phone call can take anywhere from 30 seconds to 10 minutes, and I don't want to waste my time with the companies I don't actually want to work with. It's better to pre-check them than call. You will save a lot of time. So now let's go into another one. And this marketing agency is called Tony Hawk. And we go and imagine we went into their website. We looked at it. It's like yeah, this looks like a company culture that I would like to give my services to that they can outsource for. Well, what I actually do is I will take that and I'll put them in the pre-qualified tab here. What this means is that I've pre-qualified them. I know they're a place I want to work and I want to give them a call. So I'm going to come back tomorrow and I'm going to actually call one of my real leads and show you what that conversation looks like. Just for a note, the lead's voice will be redone by me, as again, to protect privacy. Information will be slightly changed or bleeped out. I don't want to get this video banned off YouTube, but I want to show you as close as I possibly can what a real sales conversation looks like when you start calling up potential leads. Hi, it's Orson here. I'm just calling because I'm a video production company just a suburb down. I'm in Wollongabba, and I was just quickly calling to see if one of you guys outsource video production agencies, and if so, is there an appropriate way to go about doing it? Yeah, absolutely. No, that's what I'm hoping to do because with marketing agencies, you're usually a lot easier to work with, so that would be the plan. Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, look, I guess so. It's not something that you guys typically do, but I guess would an email be okay, or is yeah? All right. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye. Okay, so now here's a typical interaction where I'd probably give it like a 2 out of 5. It's not the worst, but it's not far off. Essentially, after calling this marketing agency, they said that they don't typically outsource video production agencies. So, one, they won't have any systems. So, even if we were to get into the nitty gritty, there's not a high chance they're actually going to be able to offer me work in the future because they just won't have it set up. They won't have the systems to be able to know that they can call upon me to do it. Nevertheless, it's still good to nurture this relationship if they did figure out that I could be a productive asset to their team. And essentially, the motto I was getting was that if I could offer a competitive rate, so again, I'm not going to make much money on this. So the one, there's not a likely chance, probably not going to make much money, but most of these calls we're not going to make much money when you're going for this low hanging fruit, this instant gratification essentially on like sales. The you're not going to make as much money as though if you were making yourself more well established. Nevertheless, I would simply send them an email, start a discussion, see if I can get on a Zoom chat with someone for 10 to 30 minutes, see what they're looking for, and then maybe go give them some day rates for their production house. Okay, but for right now, I'm going to save that information in my CRM on Zoho. I write it in the notes, and I'm going to keep on calling up different agencies and see what else I can find. Hi, this is Orson here. I'm just calling because I run a video production company a few suburbs down, and I was just quickly calling to see with 2 questions. One, if your company outsources video production agencies or freelancers, and if so, is there an appropriate channel to go through? Outsource, you'd rather just recommend agencies? Hmm. Ab- Absolutely. No, that sounds like a great idea. So my email is, yeah, perfect. That would be, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. Cheers. Bye. You too. Bye. So that there was actually quite a productive email. I would give this one a 3 out of 5 because this is even while freelancing and outsourcing for marketing agencies is considered awesome, I would say it's even better when they just straight up refer you because that means there's more pocket back in your change. And the major reason you'd have to think about this is that they want to be able to refer the best talent to their customers so that they can look good. So my responsibility no longer becomes like, how do I make money? It's about making sure they look good. And this is where having an extremely reliable company looks good. So this would include things like having a website, show reel, Google reviews is probably the easiest and first step that I would recommend. Being able to set up a Google business profile and get all your existing customers to give you 5 stars. The more of them you can have, the more comfortable they're going to feel sending their clients to you. There's probably going to be a few more follow-up processes with this one as well. So I will be probably getting on the phone with one of their sales or one of their marketing reps, and we'll be talking and trying to build that relationship and trust. They'll be trying to gauge what kind of personality I am, because again, if they recommend someone bad, that's going to affect them quite negatively. So you need to build a lot of trustability if you're going to go down this route. So I'd give this interaction, like, I actually got a rating system. This is why I'm giving them out of 5 stars, because I do put that in my system. Like, what is the chances of this becoming a good relationship? 5s are definite, 1s are almost impossible. And so this one here, I'm going to give it about a 3.5. So it's getting pretty up there, and that's a good client to keep in contact with. So that was an okay interaction. Hi there, my name's Orson, and I'm from... Sorry, who was this, sorry? Oh, hey, nice to meet you. I was just calling because my name's Orson and I run a video production company here in Brisbane as well. And I was just calling to see if one of your marketing agency outsources videographers, and if so, would there be an appropriate channel to go through to talk about this? Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm looking to do, because basically I'm pretty new little startup here in the Wollongabba region. I've been operating for about 4 months, and yeah, I'm trying to build some relationships with marketing agencies, and whether it's as a collaboration or if you want to outsource me and like work something out like that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I mainly specialize with spoken content and scripted content. So you'd see like my favorite specialization and one I try to get work with the most is like your YouTube and Facebook ads, the paid promotion style ads, and header videos for websites. And saying that at the same time, I can work also if you're wanting to do something like produce regular content for clients, which you just said before. That's something I can do with like day rates. So the idea being is we figure out a process that would be able to create content at an efficient scale that's still good quality. Yeah, so I do packages mainly. So something for like commercials, because they're complicated, I'll do a package. And say for something, if you're doing like just plain video with someone speaking to camera talking, then that would probably done in some form of a day rate, because there's not like a lot of creative variability in that. Maybe there's some understanding I need to develop with like what you're imagining you'd like as well. And saying that though, on my website, I actually have a cost calculator for digital ads. So like you can fill in a form and it'll give you like a price range. So yeah, as a typical package goes though, like, and the reason why I do the cost calculator is it can vary so much based on like what the client wants, like how long the video is and that quality and stuff. Like doing those commercials for clients, you're ranging anywhere from like $800 all the way up to like 8,000. So and yeah, absolutely. I will send you an email for that as well. And I'll also say as well, if you wanted to catch up at any point just to get to know me, to help understand my like what I'm like as a personality, always happy to do that as well. Happy to buy a coffee. All right, fantastic. All right, thanks so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I appreciate it. Cheers. Bye. All right, so right there, that was pretty much the perfect phone call. Basically, I called up the marketing agency. They said, yeah, this is something we offer and we're struggling to keep up, and we would be looking to outsource that work. He was getting quite curious about my pricing and my quality and the types of videos I do, and he would be interested in some form of collaboration. And that means this is like a 5 out of 5 relationship to nurture. So from here, he's asked to send through like a portfolio and price ranges. And so this is something to get really clear on. If you make sure you have at least like 3 pieces of work that keenly identify what style of work you produce. And then on top of that, being able to be clear on your prices. That's another thing as well. So whether it's in a day rate form or in a project form. So I kind of, looking back at that now, think I was probably a little wish-washy on my pricing. I should have said, yeah, I just do day rates. I should, but I kind of said, oh, I can do both. Problem with that is it sometimes can make you sound a bit unsure, but I'll make sure I can rectify that in an email and I'll make it as clear as possible for him to understand. So now in saying that, I'm going to actually stop this camera here. I'm going to edit the video and play back that phone call recording I had with him, and then I'll break down what I think I did well, what I didn't do well, and also the step-by-step thought process I have when I'm calling these agencies so you can understand how I'm talking to them. And welcome back. So I've just had an edit of the video and I've had a look through, and then yeah, there are definitely some key pointers that I want to get across that I think a lot of people misinterpret. So first and foremost is that you don't need an actual script. You just need a good intention when you're contacting these companies. So many people are looking for this magical word, these magic words you can just string together and makes people go, oh, here's some work, here's some money. They don't exist. What you're actually looking to do is build a relationship. You're calling each one of these companies and asking, are you interested in me? Most of the time they're going to say no. And that's okay. Just let them go and let them pass. So one of the other things I want to say is that you don't want to get disheartened. Even though you saw that quick video there, what you didn't see was a lot of the other calls. There was 25 minutes, and in that time I was able to call 12 different agencies. And of them, it was 3 didn't pick up, 5 of them were not interested, 3 of them were semi-interested, but not really, and 1 was genuinely interested in creating some form of a working partnership or relationship with me. I didn't get really any interest until the 6th call, so I kind of got an unlucky streak based on these very small numbers. If this was the first time I was doing it, I'd be feeling very disheartened and like, oh, am I even worth it? And the matter of the fact is, if they don't want you, that's not anything to do with you. It's them. It's starting to sound like dating advice now, isn't it? But basically, you're just there to ask, this is who I am. Are you interested in talking about future opportunities together? Can we collaboration, contracting, something like that. But you're not there to close a deal. You're not there to string some words together and get money. You're there to look for people who you can build a relationship with. And that is key and paramount. And that's what this entire video is about. It's about finding people to build relationships with. There are businesses out there that want to have a working relationship with you. You just need to take the step forward and ask them out. And that always starts with picking up the phone. And with that said, everyone, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to see more videos and step-by-step processes, actual actionable information so that you can build up your freelance or studio agency, don't forget to hit that subscribe and bell notification because I will be coming out with more of these. Until next time, peace out.